Is it a lot?
It's not a lot.
I see.
It's too much after the first couple things.
Fine.
Yeah. I mean, you could talk about it some more if you want.
I'm just going to edit all of this out so no one knows what anyone's talking about.
Sounds like no one wants this.
No, I'm just jumping right in.
Jump in.
Oh, no.
Welcome back to Rabbit Troop Sucks, and we are a podcast about obscure, forgotten about, and often overlooked films. Today, we're going to be looking at a film that maybe a lot of people didn't watch because they watched a very popular TV show about it, starring, and well before, I guess, Sarah Michelle Gellar. But that was starring Sarah Michelle Gellar. We have Buffy the Vampire Slayer from 1992. And this Buffy is Kristy Swanson. And hi, as always, I'm your host, Paul, and next to me is Mike.
Hey, Paul, it's me, Mike.
Hey, Mike.
Hey,
You
Paul.
seem so far but so close.
I know. We're all talking very softly tonight.
Welcome to our soothing episode of Rabbit Troop Sucks.
Did you put the NPR filter on this?
I did.
Okay.
Sitting very relaxed next to you is our friend La-Mar. How are you doing today, La-Mar?
Picturing a dog trying to claw out of the room listening to NPR.
The sound you're listening to is all of our listeners leaving.
You are listening to my voice.
You are listening to me talk. Hello.
And we have Collin. Hi, Collin. You feeling relaxed and real nice today?
So relaxed here, Paul. Thanks for having me. Hi,
Yeah.
Mike. Hi, La-Mar.
Oh, hey, Colin, welcome to the show.
I hope
Hi,
the-
guys.
I hope the scents that are floating around the house are soothing, much like the herbal teas that all of us are drinking tonight.
Yes.
Calms my aura.
You know, it's not going to calm your aura. This really, really weird summary of this movie.
Oh, I can't wait.
According to IMDb, Buffy the Vampire Slayer, 1992. Flighty teenage girl Buffy Summers learns that she is her generation's destined battler of vampires.
That calms me.
That tracks.
Okay, I guess.
My aura's calm.
Oh, that's good.
Vibes are good.
Welcome back.
Yeah. Hey. Hey, guys.
Colin, what's in your herbal tea tonight?
The mushrooms we found out front of your house.
Oh, shit. Who are you people?
So that's what keeps you calm.
What color are the stars on the walls, Colin? Do you
They're-
see more than one color? and think carefully before you answer that.
They're the color of a wistful summer.
That we are no longer in summer, friend.
No.
If you had to quantify it, how funky would you say your chicken is?
How loose is your goose?
Yeah.
And the real question is, what was the goose? I'm still thinking about that. What's loose? What is the goose?
It was so loose, though.
What's the chicken?
I don't know.
Is it a penis?
Was it a funky chicken?
I don't.
Something.
What? So, are you asking what are the subliminal messages in
Yeah.
the cheerleader chant? I will never know.
No one does.
But we'll get there. Yeah, hey, Buffy
Okay,
the
wow.
Vampire Slayer. As I was trying to mutter before, yeah, long before Sarah Michelle Gellar, we had Kristy Swanson as Buffy the Vampire Slayer. And not really too long before, still in the 90s. But I really think this is maybe like on our radar because I really do feel everyone gravitates towards the show. I know clearly tons and tons of people have seen this movie, but I clearly think the show is the more popular version. I mean, all of you would agree with this, right?
The show lasted
Yeah.
so long.
That's the
would
thing.
feel-
I mean,
yeah.
the show was on for like a decade.
Yeah. How well do you guys gravitate toward this show? Have you guys?
I have seen.
never really seen
I've
it.
seen maybe like 2 episodes in my life.
Same here.
Yeah.
I never really sought out the show even after the movie. It's just I don't know what it is with shows that spawn off of movies and why they try it like that.
Well, I remember when the show came out, and this isn't a diss against the show, and the show I'm sure like changed. So maybe I've seen like 3 episodes in my life, but it would honestly be like I saw the first 2 episodes when they premiered in the 90s, and then I saw maybe another episode, like honest to God, like 8 years later. And maybe that was like a rerun or something. It was just like so many years, and it was like I had no idea what was happening. But I remember being disconnected from watching the first 2 episodes of the show when it premiered, only because the tone of this movie is a lot different. The movie is like half comedy, it's a bit of romance, it's action adventure. There's like all sorts of genres in this. And I love this movie. I mean, I'm like, I should just open up and be like, I really like this movie. I think it's a ton of fun for a lot of different reasons. And the show was a little more serious. and a little more focused on like high school drama, and I was just kind of out. And I'm not saying that like it was a bad show. Clearly it was like amazing for so many people, but that was not the same vibe I was going for, and I was like, like I don't know. That's just kind of how I felt. I know people love the show, and I know it's like I think there is like a lot more satire in the show later on and various other things. I just haven't seen it.
I didn't even know the show existed for the first, I think, at least a year or two of its existence. That when I was in high school, there was this girl she was like a summer resident, and she was kind of dating a friend of mine, but her house was closer to mine, so she'd like come over and hang over, and then we'd drive to my friend's house. And every week on whatever day it aired, she's like, yeah, I can't hang out tonight. Like, me and my friend are going to watch Buffy. I'm like, okay, cool. And then the next week she's like, yeah, I got to bounce. Me and my friend are going to watch Buffy. I'm like, fucking again? Mm-hmm. And this went on like every week for a month. And I had no idea that she was going to watch a TV show. I thought her and her friend were just watching this movie every week. And eventually I was like, you guys must really like this movie. And they're like, you fucking chode. This is a TV show that is very popular. I was like, I don't know.
Does friend of show Chris know this person?
No, I don't believe so.
Chris, get on that. Write me on the side.
Yeah.
It's pretty interesting you bring that up, Mike.
Investigate.
Yeah.
Because I know people who, well, I didn't think they were watching the movie over and over again, but I know people that were like, I religiously got to run home and watch Buffy, that new episode tonight or whatever. It's like, wow, this show must be great, but I had no interest.
Yeah.
Well, I'm going to say this to Collin. I could relate in a way that I cannot relate to either of those gentlemen.
Yeah, I'm with you. Yeah.
You guys didn't know any people who were like Buffy the Vampire Slayer fans?
No, I don't have those stories.
Kind of bizarre.
The only reason that I even knew the Angel existed was because we watched Bones.
Yeah.
I love Bones.
Honestly,
All
yeah.
connected.
Yeah, go Bones.
Mm-hmm.
Yep, totally. Yeah.
Yeah.
I have more. So I think even like probably Buffy would be like a guilty pleasure for people too. Like I'm sure. Like I just like Supernatural. Jeremy and I and Mike and I have talked about this. Like there's episodes like we liked, and there's some are just like we kind of just like guilty pleasure watch this. Like, I mean, it's just I'm not dissing anyone who watches that, but one of my guilty pleasures growing up, and if this is not verbatim for Seinfeld, I'm pretty sure it is. Me and a couple of my friends, we totally got into Melrose Place. And it wasn't like we sympathized. We were like, this show is effing bananas. Like, we would dissect the show as teenagers. Like, this is the most improbable bullshit we've ever seen in our life. And, like, so we would, like, mock watch it. So, like, I totally love Melrose Place. Like, it was crazy. I don't know what to say about that. It was in a time when there was 5 channels. And those were the channels I got. So.
That's true.
It was that and, you know, the news and Mama's Family.
Yeah.
So what did you want from me?
We know why Melrose Place and 90210 became so popular.
See, that's the
Very
thing.
little
Like,
things on.
although I watched like 90210 here and there, I was like, but I like somehow really got into Melrose Place. I was like, I am willing to watch this show because it is defying my reality. Like, it's crazy. Yeah, it's just like everyone was a killer and everyone was sleeping with one another. It was just bananas. I was like, I don't know. They got me. It was a soap opera written for teens, and you suckered me in Melrose Place.
Yeah, it's a crazy place.
But yeah, so I was watching that instead of Buffy the Vampire Slayer. So I'm not making fun of anyone. Like,
Yeah.
I'm
You can't.
No,
Now.
I'm being very clear about that. Like, I think everyone could watch whatever they want. Like, just Buffy the Vampire Slayer, the movie, was more my taste.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, and Joss Whedon had like a real presence around this time too, because he was doing Serenity too, right? Like at the same time that Buffy's still coming out.
The show?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so.
So he's like, probably has a huge following in everything he does at this point.
Probably. Did he do the Buffy show also?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
Or he's a producer, probably.
Sure.
It's crazy.
And it was the writer of this movie.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't know that.
Yeah. And I think you are correct, Collin. I think he was the producer, if not like maybe the writer here and there or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, we've all seen this though, before getting into it too deep, right?
Correct.
Yeah.
Maybe only twice.
Yeah. I've seen this movie like a ton. I saw this movie, honestly, La-Mar, at least twice in the theater itself.
That's
Very nice.
Maybe once was with Jeremy. Jeremy can't make it today because he is currently under the fever. This episode is not brought to you by the fever, and you keep that fever far away from us. Don't even transmit it to us via the radio waves.
There you go. Get well soon, Jeremy.
Take 2 shots of fever.
Maybe 3 shots.
Yeah, I mean, we got a lot of fun people in this movie. Kristy Swanson, as noted, is Buffy the Vampire Slayer. Unfortunately, as the world noted, Donald Sutherland has passed away, and we had a lot of movies slated, and this is our first movie with him. He plays Merrick. He passed away in the summer of this year. Paul Reubens passed away also in 2023 at the age of 70. He plays Amilyn. Rutger Hauer also passed away at the age of 75, and I don't have the date on that. That was a while ago.
Yeah, it was a bit ago.
Luke Perry also passed away at the age of 52 in 2019. That's crazy.
Yeah.
I mean, like that's just like nuts that like so many people have passed away. Hilary Swank is in this movie. David Arquette is in this movie. You have a couple other cameos all throughout. Yeah, this movie is just like a ton of fun. It has a ton of notable people. Just going through the cast, and I really didn't think about it this way. I was just like, wow, like I didn't really think like half the cast is deceased. It's crazy.
Yeah, I wasn't thinking about that either until you started naming them off, and I was looking at my cast list like, wow.
Right, I was just going through like the cast order, and I just write in my notes, and I was like, oh. I mean, clearly, I was like, yeah, Luke Perry and Donald Sutherland, but sometimes you just take some of these people for granted. Like, I know it sounds like really weird, but like Rutger Hauer has been in so many movies, and so many movies like we've watched for this podcast, movies we'll watch for this podcast, movies we've watched together. Mike and I were talking about Blade Runner earlier today. I just feel like he's always been with us. Like he's like just kind of like this weird actor. I'm like, oh yeah, Rutger Hauer. Like, of course I've seen Rutger Hauer in something.
Right.
And then
Everyone
like you just
has.
then you just take for granted that he's just not. Or I mean, you say that, Mike, but then I feel like now we're like outliving that, like with younger generations.
That's fair.
Because I've always felt that with Robin Williams. Like, no matter what, like you've seen or heard or done something, but I feel now if like a younger generation, like, or my daughter would just be like, I mean, my daughter's too young, but like even in 10 years, my daughter just might be like, I don't know.
That's very disappointing. For whole generations of people, the genie will be Will fucking Smith. And that's really upsetting for me. No offense, Will Smith. Love you and Bad Boys.
All of them.
Mike, have you watched the last Bad Boys?
I haven't seen it yet.
Yeah, Mike and I are owed a dude date. You guys are all invited.
Yeah. Go see it in some 4D again.
Yeah. Well, it's already out.
Yeah,
So
I was about
it's
to
too
say,
late.
you better.
No, you just come to my house. I'll like throw water at you.
The movie's so great. I'm sure it'll be re-released. And
Yeah.
dude,
I need to see it. Mike and I need to complete our Bad Boys
Yeah.
collection.
The fact that they called the third one Bad Boys for Life is fucking stupid.
That's a missed opportunity right there.
What was it called? What if it was called Bad Boys Fife?
Yeah.
Well, one big thing I want to say before we start dissecting Buffy the Vampire Slayer, huge shout out to listener Jenna for suggesting this to us. Collin and I have known Jenna for ages, and she noted online like, oh, I'm glad you did one of these films. I was like, you should totally suggest one to us, because I think between Collin and I, you might have an in. And amongst a ton of gems, Jenna, to highlight to you, we definitely gravitated towards this because it was going to hit up October, and we thought, wow, this is a really good movie that we should totally review. Thanks again, Jenna, for suggesting Buffy the Vampire Slayer, 1992.
I have always really liked this movie. We watched it a ton as a kid, so it was an excellent recommendation.
Yeah. Does anyone not like this movie before we go forward? La-Mar.
I don't think I like it as much as other people, but
Get the fuck out.
I liked it all right.
Good.
Mike?
No, I like this movie a lot.
Yeah, I mean, like, I think it's like hard pressed to say, like, La-Mar, I understand, like, it might not be your favorite movie in the world, but like, it's really hard pressed to say, like, it's not just like a good time. Like, it's a really quick movie. It's an hour and a half.
Yeah, we paused it, and I genuinely thought we were like 20 minutes into it, and it's halfway done.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is good.
I don't want to jump the gun too much on it, but I think one of the reasons why I like this so much is because of the flow.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
If this movie just stalled and had to explain itself and got too much into the lore, I would have hated it.
No.
But
No,
it
I
was
totally
a fun
agree.
romp.
Yeah.
That's why I liked it.
Yeah.
It sets the tone right off the bat too. It's like
Yeah.
when we were like loading it up and we saw, the Rotten Tomato scores, wherever the IMDb scores are all super low.
Yeah.
And in the back of my head, I was like, it's been a while since I've seen this.
Yeah.
This movie sucks. I'm just like remember seeing it a million years ago. And 5 seconds of the movie, I'm already giggling a little bit.
Yeah, well, wasn't the, well, yeah, when we're so I own this and we watched this through the Apple app on Apple TV, and on the background there's a menu and it shows you what the Rotten Tomatoes score is.
38.
Yeah,
it was crazy.
He was like 30 something.
That's nonsense.
Yeah, well, yeah. So my thought is, I asked these guys, I was like, is there some kind of rivalry, like the Buffy show fans are like, nah, this isn't real. Like Sarah Michelle Gellar is the only Buffy, and then the other people, like, I mean, moreover, are there two camps? I'm like, I can't even imagine. I don't know. They're just different. I think probably both equally effective.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. If you're a fan of the show and you don't like the movie, go fuck yourself and respect the lore. God damn it.
Yeah, a lot of the super low reviews on IMDb are like, this is trash, go watch the show.
No.
Yikes.
Yeah.
Those people are incorrect and have bad taste.
Yeah.
That's not a diss on the show. That's just like,
Yeah.
come on.
As I said,
the freedom of the internet.
Yeah, like I acknowledge that there's two different vibes, like the show and the movie, and like the movie was more for me. That's why I said I didn't really watch the show. But respect to those who did. I mean, like, whatever. As I said, like, I'm watching Melrose Place. I'm like, these sons of bitches are crazy. But whatever. I mean, yeah, I don't know. I think Kristy Swanson is just perfectly cast in this role. I don't know. She is like tough, but she also plays like the airhead to begin with. And I think equally she showcases that role all throughout.
Yeah. I like that she kind of plays a tough airhead.
Yeah.
Like even when she's, learning the ropes and doing, I don't know, like being successful at being a slayer or whatever, she's still like kind of ditzy, which I like, because you can be ditzy and good at something. It's like Jake Peralta in Brooklyn Nine-Nine.
Yeah.
Like you're a goofball, but you're actually really good at your job. And I like that.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. I mean, but she does kind of come around at the end. There is kind of like this transformation of her intelligence and also her outlook on life and people, like slowly, like I guess through the film. I mean, kind of inconsequential, but they do have it. But I totally agree with La-Mar. Like the flow of this film is really good for me. I mean, again, an hour and a half. If the movie was longer to any extent, like give or take 10 minutes, that would have been fine with me. Like I'm indifferent. I mean, it had enough room, but to keep it to an hour and 40, which again was like about 10 minutes less, I think is perfect. Yeah, like you find the backstory out really quickly that there has been a series of slayers for like 1,500 years roughly, and all of the slayers have failed, and we will find out Donald Sutherland plays Merrick, and he too has lived like 150 lives, and his whole job is he's born with the knowledge that he will train the next slayer, he will observe people and then train that person, and then inevitably fail, that this vampire Lothos will kill both of them. We never really find out how he dies all the time. I was like, that's all right.
Probably like this, I would
Yeah,
imagine.
probably. Well, not really, because he says he's never done this, but probably the death itself is probably similar.
Yeah.
You'll go down, and I was like, wow, that sucks. And we find out this girl Buffy is the next Slayer, and she's been having these dreams about past lives.
Yeah. I mean, to talk about the pacing, I love how quickly she comes around to this. Like Donald Sutherland's like, oh, hey, you're the chosen one. You have a mole. She's like, no, I don't. Like, but you did. And there's vampires. She's like, no, there's not. But there are. Okay. And that's like the extent of this conversation.
It's like he's like one of those like a psychic guys who can kind of read the room. He's like, you have a dream. I'm sensing an M maybe. Or...
Well, like if you listen, he never really explains. He's just asking leading questions, and she's like, "Fuck, you're right."
Yeah.
Yeah. He's good. He's been practicing 150 lifetimes.
Yeah.
He does confirm when I know we're jumping ahead, but he does confirm like the dreams though. He's like
it dreams of the past.
Well, but then
like, no one has ever had those.
Then she'll say stuff, and he's like, Virginia, you were in Virginia. It was like this was what was happening, and then he kind of expands on what she's saying. But I overall agree, Mike, that is funny that he's like, yes, you are the vampire. Yes, you're the vampire slayer. Absolutely, get into my van.
Is vampire.
Well, she's been having Mike these dreams. Yes.
Damn it, it's back.
God damn it.
Let's build a spaceship.
Yeah.
So Buffy is basically the head cheerleader of high school, and everything is amazing. And the movie starts off with her cheerleading with her friends, her being just the typical teen. They're going to the mall shopping. Clearly, she comes from a very wealthy background. We'll find out that her parents could give a shit about her, unfortunately. But she could max out the credit cards and do whatever she wants. I guess she's getting good enough grades. This is never really discussed. But she's clearly a very social person. She's, a cheerleader. She's dating some kind of jock. Her friends are cheerleaders. Their friends and boyfriends are jocks. It's like the very stereotypical high school thing to see.
Yeah.
The person she's dating looks suspiciously like a young Tom Brady. It threw me off throughout. I don't know who the hell that is.
Call him Yady.
Mr. Yady was throwing me off all through this movie. He's rarely in it, though.
Buffy
so
and Yady.
Yeah. We're glad he's in it. Rarely.
I'm going to say something. So there's the boyfriend has initially like two dude friends. Mm-hmm. We get the handsy dude who gets floored by Buffy later, well-deservedly so.
Yeah. An eyebrow guy?
Eyebrow guy. That's Mike. That's who I'm going to reference right now.
Okay.
That guy, I don't think they put vampire makeup on that guy. They literally, his transformation is they put fangs on. They hired a vampire.
What he looks like
at
at the
werewolf.
Right.
Yeah.
What he looks like at the end of the movie is what he looks like. They had to make
crazy.
him look human for the first couple scenes.
Yeah, what?
That was the makeup.
Yeah, like literally, it's like it seems like he's like floating around. It's like they bent back his ears and put in fangs.
Right.
But I'm like, dude,
Nope.
you kind of look the same. Like, what's going on here?
Yeah, that's his vibe.
Well, that guy was well cast.
He was well cast.
As vampire wolf.
Yes, vampire wolf.
Then the girls decide they're going to go see a movie, and this is our first introduction to Merrick, where Donald Sutherland busts into their elevator. And do you remember the quote from the girls?
No.
Something about a hobo.
Homeless much?
That's right.
There's a lot of good one-liners in this movie.
So Homeless Much is shut down at the elevator, and the girls decide that they want to go see a film. And this is where we're introduced to Pike and Benny, and that is Luke Perry and David Arquette. David Arquette looks so young in this movie. I'm not saying anything negative. I mean, it was like David Arquette has been acting like all of his life. The Arquette family is super notable. But this movie came out, 35 years ago, 38 years ago. What year is it?
I don't know.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Well, I can't remember when I said this movie came out.
Something like that.
Something like that.
Yeah, 32 years ago.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Oh, that's
I
gross. Yeah.
It is gross. I don't like this at all.
Yeah, so clearly he looks young. Luke Perry.
Luke Perry has always looked like this.
Yeah, Luke Perry always looked like a pretty young and attractive dude. Like, he aged, like, very slowly. I just want to say, like, everything I read when Luke Perry died, like, apparently he was just, like, the nicest dude. He always seems nice. Like, he's always in these weird... Everyone thinks of 90210, but I think of him in The Fifth Element, the beginning, like, kind of like this goofball archaeologist. I think of him in this movie, and I thought of him then, too, when I saw The Fifth Element. I'm like... So he's been in some, like, fun roles. So I'm like, man, like, what a shame. But he's fun in this movie.
Yeah.
Yeah, when I think of him, I think of this movie first and then 90210.
That's good. Yeah,
I think this is an iconic role to me.
90210 is his paycheck. This was his passion.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, that's the way you're thinking about it.
That makes sense.
So we're introduced to those characters.
Yeah.
They're
Yeah,
sitting
the movie
behind
Yeah.
them in the theater.
What can I get for this? I don't know. 2 coffees or a hot dog?
No, that's later.
Oh,
They're gonna-
that's at the
No.
cafe.
I do
they'll meet again.
Yeah, okay, good.
This is just the movie theater where everyone's yelling at each other.
Yeah, it's a little intro to the guys are jerks. They're sitting behind these thoughts in the movie theater, kicking their seats. And
It's
shit.
also clearly showing like a class system. Like Benny is like a total degenerate. Pike is maybe not so much. Like he might have some ambitions, but like they're getting drunk at their movie theater. I have no idea how old they are. I'm guessing they're like 20. So they're out of high school, but they're kind of doing their own stuff. But like Buffy and her friends, they're like the Valley Girl, like well off, like I drive sports cars and have like credit cards kind of deal.
Yeah, super egomaniacs. They were talking without
Pretty
without
much.
any regard for anyone else in the theater.
Well-
Benny and Pike were right.
I think the whole first 10 minutes of this movie is setting up the system of who's the Stacys and who's the
Yeah.
the jocks, and pretty much get to meet the characters that way.
Well, Eyebrow is off on his own because he didn't want to go to the movies.
Mr. Eyebrow.
So he is walking home and he's like, "Oh man, do I hear someone behind me? I don't need this, bro." And then they turn and in the most manly ways, Paul Reubens is riding a carousel.
Paul Reubens is so amazing in this
He
movie.
is.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. Like, this is bananas. So he plays like Amilyn?
I have no idea.
I'll have to look in my notes.
Yeah, it's like Amilyn.
Amilyn. Yeah, so this guy, so Paul Rubin, best known as Pee Wee Herman, is not in his suit, not in his weird like pasty makeup. He has super long hair. He looks like he's like the roadie for Soundgarden. He's wearing this leather jacket. He says these amazing things all throughout. I have to assume a lot of it was improv. You know, on a side note, I can't remember. There might have been a director who said this. There was a rumor that Paul Reubens was going to reprise a Pee Wee Herman movie. And it was supposed to be rated R and like heavily like satanic and weird. And I was like, oh my God, please make this movie.
Yeah.
They did not, clearly, and he has passed as well. But yeah, he is so fun in this movie. Like, where the hell did this come from?
And I think he did this right at the tail end of Pee-wee's Playhouse, if I'm not mistaken.
I have no idea.
92 sounds about right. I think that's when the show kind of was at a tail end. Just imagining him dressing up like that and then this, okay, I'm going to do this role now. I know he was pretty good doing acting like this. What's that other movie? I think it was Blow that I saw him in like around the same time. That just a really out of character that you really not expect out of him.
Yeah, I mean, he's got a ton of one-liners. His relationship with Rutger Hauer is super weird. Like, everything's super weird about this, and it just makes it fun. Like really, like his demeanor is like almost not the same vibe as the movie, and also Donald Sutherland also has like a different vibe. Like, it's very odd casting, and it just really works for me. I don't know. It's like a clash of like classic actors versus like this new generation, and somehow it just pulls it off for me. Well, we're back at high school, and clearly everything that's important is being developed. I mean, this is going to be the complex that Buffy has to get through, where it's like the Peter Parker syndrome. Like, she wants to live her life, but she kind of realizes she's outgrowing her friends because she realizes that they have a very like microscopic view of high school, and that's everything. And Buffy has this like very like panned out view of the world and sees a lot more. Like, after now she's going to be fighting vampires, but the background a little bit is like, we've got to start the school dance, and like, what should we talk about? Like, what does it have to be? It's got to be socially conscious. Like,
Downer.
yeah, like, but maybe it's like, what should we look at? Like, people are littering. Like, what didn't you like about the environment? Bugs.
Yeah, bugs, totally.
And then someone's like, ozone. And then we get
We got to get rid of that.
and then we get an introduction to Gary Murray, who is played by Stephen Root, known as Milton from Office Space, amongst many other things. He's beyond a teacher, but he's not the principal. Like, he's never really established. Like, he's a head administrator.
Is he not? I thought he was the principal.
I have no idea.
He even says like he's an administrator. He never says principal, because I have like these question marks. And they just like give him this very vague authoritarian like blankness, because he's just dishing out like demerits and detentions and all these things all throughout.
Honestly, he's the only teacher or authority figure I've ever seen in this movie, so maybe he's all of that and more. The principal,
He's even the basketball
advisor.
coach.
Oh yeah,
I love the basketball.
Now we are at some weird cafe. It looks like a
okay,
bar.
It's like the Peach Pit or whatever.
Yeah, and it's basically Buffy and her like girl group, and they're hanging out and they're getting coffees or whatever. And then we get another introduction to Pike and Benny, and according to Buffy, you guys are thrashed.
They were. He was
They
lit.
were. And so they pull out a handful of change and buttons and lint. And she's like, what can we get for this? And she's like, 2 coffees or a hot dog with nothing. And I guess they ordered the hot dog.
Yeah. Well, Benny got the hot dog, and Pike got the bun.
You know what? I think
Wow.
I think Pike won that situation.
He did, yeah.
Especially where that was coming from.
I'd rather eat. Well, it still touched the hot dog.
There you go.
touch the hot
Get it in
You don't
there.
want a hot dog flavored bun. You'd rather just have a bun without the hot dog flavor.
I don't know.
Yeah. Where did that hot dog come from?
7-Eleven. I actually like hot dogs. I know they're gross. Whatever, you guys.
Mike, you're thrashed.
That's correct. That is correct.
Do you want Buffy to waste your dog?
Here
Oh
we go.
well. Benny
Kind of, yeah.
does a weird thing. He's like, "Oh, check out this dog," and like holds it like this unit.
Oh boy, his
And then-
unit. Yes.
And then Buffy slashes it up. He's like, "Oh!"
You're saying he's holding it like she could breathe out of it.
Jeremy's not
Jeremy,
here
where
to say
are
that. Yeah. He's got the fever. He's got the
does.
fever, Colin.
He's got the hot dog fever.
Wow, that's the shirt. Jeremy and the hot dog fever. I
Yeah.
love it. Hey, Jeremy, if you're not feeling better by this episode, 5 hot dogs a day. Doctor's orders.
Oh, Lord.
5, you can't even split them up.
You think that's enough?
Well, maybe like just 5 for breakfast.
Okay.
So
Is he a hobbit? Like he could have like second
Second, yeah,
breakfast?
out in 11s, lunch and
Yeah,
brunch.
so
yeah.
Jeremy, go to Costco, get like the gallon size bucket. I think it's called a busket of dogs.
Yeah.
Put them on the grill
That's his last episode. He'll be on.
and write a letter saying your goodbyes because
Yeah.
you need.
Coming back.
I don't think if you eat them all, even a stomach pump is going to save you now.
No. Maybe.
Well, still at the cafe, Pike and Benny are just being kind of really drunk and belligerent. And then that kind of just ends that.
Yeah.
And then they go home.
Well, they leave. They're walking, discussing the night. Pike is kind of maybe curious about Buffy and the whole gang.
But they're thrashed.
They're thrashed.
And Benny's like, oh my God, I feel sick. And they basically both pass out.
But would you bone her? No. Okay.
Benny kind of doesn't. And Pike passes out, but Benny kind of just twirls around and actually. Is this where he gets got?
Yeah, he gets
Yeah.
Reubens.
Yeah, Merrick appears. He's just like driving around, and luckily, he just sees Pike pass out and helps him. But
he sees Benny getting attacked and doesn't do anything.
hey, do you think he saw that?
I mean, it was pretty clear.
I mean, I feel it's all happening kind of simultaneously.
Maybe.
Yeah,
We
I
saw
thought
it.
that too.
Yeah. Well, Benny's gone.
Benny is gone. Yeah,
Thrashed for life, friend.
he's thrashed.
Classic Benny.
Yeah.
Yeah. And Merrick just takes Pike home like a nice little guy.
And then he basically finds where Buffy is at high school. So the next scene is basically him stalking his way into a girls' gymnasium area.
Right. She handles this relatively well.
Yeah, she's like, "Oh, are you a teacher?" He's like, "No."
No, I'm not a teacher.
And she's like, "That seems super weird." And he's like, "Yes, it is. But I
weird.
need
By
to
the
talk
way,
to you. You need to go to the graveyard.
Let's go to
with
the
me."
graveyard right now.
He's very insistent about going to the grave. Like, come with me to the graveyard. And she's like, "No, bro." Absolutely not. I like her attitude about this. She is not in for that.
I do like this meeting. He's really vague with it. He's like, "Come with me. I got your birthright in my pocket right here."
He's
Come
like,
with me to graveyard.
He's like, "I know about you, and I've been following you. I've been watching you, and if you come to the graveyard with me right now, everything will be revealed." And she's like, cool. No. But as we already alluded to, then they start talking about these dreams. He's like, "You've been having these dreams. Like, you think you're someone else. You've been living these past lives." And she says a couple things, but this is, I agree that he is very vague. Mike said this before. This is the only area that he really expands on. He's like, Virginia. He's like, and she's like, "I don't know." Like, I was on a farm. He's like, "I'm telling you."
Yeah, it was Virginia.
But then they go to like another dream, and he's like more specific. And like after a while, she's like, "How do you know any of this? Like, I have never told anyone this." He's like, Yes, you have not. But I am the observer and the watcher, and you are the slayer. You are the keymaster, and I am the gatekeeper.
Shit.
Zool. There is only Zool.
There, yeah. No Buffy, only Zool. But she does. She agrees to go to the graveyard. They just have to wait for what, Robert Behrman?
Good call.
Yeah.
Why do you know that?
Because I wrote it. You motherfuckers always give me a hard time. I wrote it down.
That's
Vermin.
crazy.
Yeah,
Okay.
I also wrote it down, and I was like, "Oh my god!" Like, I looked at the name, and Colin, I had the same thought. I was like,
How does Mike know this? What happened?
Mike does not know any of the characters' names, but if it's on a tombstone,
If it's written down somewhere,
if it is an inconsequential character with a tombstone,
right, the main character's name I will not know. One person who has a bid roll.
Leslie the Vampire Slayer. What is it? Like,
Charlotte.
Well, yeah. So whatever that guy's name is, he wakes up, and I think is with like some other chick, his wife or something.
well, so that's kind of the secret. So they were like, well, Merrick says, we're gonna wait. This guy is gonna, wake up, but here are some stakes. And she's like, whoa, what the hell were you
Wooden
doing?
stakes, not
Yeah.
like Omaha.
Oh yeah. Well, he might have some jerky in his pocket.
He might, yeah.
He's got a weird jacket.
He's got it's a big coat.
He's got something. She asked for gum and he says no, but he's got something. He's like grandma's purse. There's a chick.
Should have asked for like a Werther's or something.
Yeah,
Chick-
some butterscotch.
He'd have had that, the strawberry thing.
Chiclet, nicotine gum. One way or another, you're getting gum.
Yeah.
So he does say, like, don't worry, it's only for your protection, but I've got this covered. But, and we do find this out later, so kind of spoiler, she's sitting by another grave and he knows another person's going to pop out. And they do both pop out and she's got to defend them and does. She takes them both on. I love the secondary vampire being taken down. So he at first is like, Buffy! and he gets thrown back and she takes care of that vampire. But it's almost like in perfect harmony. There's a vampire now running at Buffy, and very slowly, Merrick has a stake, and he just goes, "There's one behind you," and like underhand lobs it, like, and she's only 2 feet like in front of him, and she very quickly catches it and just throws it right into the heart of it, or that vampire. I like that scene. I thought it was well filmed.
I liked it too because there's no previous I liked it because there's no previous training scene to it, and you're supposed to allude that this is becoming natural to her.
Yeah.
It's destined.
But it's also kind of crazy too, because he is saying all throughout this, he's like, you should have had years of training. But La-Mar is correct. Like, we will see that it is like a very natural ability, and maybe the Slayer is a little different than these previous Slayers, because a lot of things, as La-Mar you were noting, like, I think it's like clicking in a little more, like these previous dreams, these experiences, like maybe this drives her a little bit. I think I read this in trivia, and I could be wrong. She has a kind of other power, and I do like this. I don't really want to say that it's like only because it's like menstrual symptoms, and that's like it's a girl, and to make it weird. But she gets cramps, and as she notes, like, great, I have PMS cramps, and they talk about it, but it's an indicator that vampires are around. I do like that she has like this intuitive spider sense somehow, and like, yeah, maybe it's uncomfortable for her, but it kind of like heightens her other abilities. I just like that this is like kind of noted. The trivia I read is I think this might not be the case in the show. I think they did away with that. But
Is it ever mentioned again in the movie?
yeah.
Oh, is
Yeah.
it?
So actually so in the graveyard, she like holds her side immediately. So like I knew this going into it. So they make allusions to it. Like she keeps like going like like.
Oh, is that why she's holding her? Okay, I guess I didn't connect that.
But then he calls her out on it, and she's like, "Oh, cool, PMS. Thanks for talking about it, dude." And he's like, "Actually, it's like one of your powers." And she's like, "Oh, awesome." But like, and then she does hold her side later on. Like, so it is like very clear, like a power that she has. I just thought it was interesting. It's like very spider sense. So I'm like, awesome.
It seems like if it's hurts so much that she's holding her side, it might not really be of benefit.
Well, I think it's like just like that tinge at first, but then she's like heightened, like, let's fight. Like, I think that's like what happens. I don't know.
That might be close.
Seems like a really inconvenient way to know the vampires are around, but
Yeah, you gotta do something.
yeah,
Better than nothing, I guess.
yeah, for sure, maybe. Where the fuck are we? She kills the 2 vampires. Now we get to see what happened to Pike and Ben.
Okay, yeah.
Pike is in his. He lives like above a garage, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Listening to I Fought the Law and the Law Won.
Yeah. Benny is knocking on his window.
Yeah. I love this interaction.
This interaction's great. In this, Buffy follows the vampires need to be invited in rule, which is fine. So Benny's like, hey, just let me in. Invite me in. It'll be cool. You should invite me in.
Are you on something?
Yeah.
No, man.
And he's like, you are floating. Come on, man. Because he is. He's just kind of flying there by his window.
I'm hungry. You're floating.
Yeah, this exchange is amazing. Pretty much everything with Benny is pretty good.
Yeah, so I have a question about this. I wrote this later in my notes, but I guess I could address this now. Like, so you become a vampire and you're just like rendered stupid in some ways in this movie.
Benny seemed pretty stupid before.
Yeah, but like, I feel it's very clear that everyone like now has a prime directive that they're just evil. Like you become like a vampire and like you have no sense of self, because they do try to talk later. Like some people, even Buffy, was like, "No, we were friends, dude. Like, what are you doing?" Like, meaning like, I don't know. Like, if I came back as a vampire, I wouldn't try to kill you guys first.
You don't know.
Well, that's the thing. Like, why do they like have to kill their friends? Like, don't you think I would go like outward? Like, guys, as friends, I'm not going to kill you and drink your blood.
Like,
but
when all else fails, you're next. But
when you get turned and you realize that being a vampire is super awesome, wouldn't you want to turn your friends first?
yeah, maybe.
yeah, but all of them seem like really angry about it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that might just be the natural disposition.
Like, because Colin, I could buy that with Benny. Like, Benny, I feel that would be his attitude. Like, come on, bro, it's so cool. We could be doing this together. But everyone else just seems angry.
Yeah. You can't have that much character development. It would mess up the flow.
Yeah.
Angry and hungry.
That's not the Lothos way.
No, it's not. It is not. Well, he doesn't let him in. I don't really remember what happens with them. They just
No, that just kind of parts ways.
Yeah, they
like,
just kind of part
Well,
ways.
he's just like, you just got to get out of here.
Yeah.
Like, I guess he
come
does.
on, man.
I guess he does.
Well,
Shut the drapes, close the blinds,
Yeah.
whatever he's got going on.
just pretend he's not out there. He's still floating there. But,
Yeah. We find out Buffy's parents, like, she's back home. Like,
Yeah.
they clearly don't care.
Do you know what time it is?
Yeah.
And I think, oh, thank you. My watch is broken.
Yeah.
Her parents seem cool.
Yeah, her parents like clearly care less at all
Yeah.
points in time. And then we get another dream. This time, Lothos is this kind of like an interesting but really weird scene. Like Lothos is like kind of in Buffy's bed, like just like sitting up and waiting for her. And like the scene is like she's like her body is almost like he's almost like a spectral ghost. And then she's like overlaid on top of him, so he's like sitting up, but she's like almost like fetal position, and he's more like, yes, good, like, because clearly this has just been the way, like, he like seduces the former slayers like enough that he's like, oh, you're gonna kill me, you are under my trance, and then he just bites and drinks their blood. Like, this has just been the way.
Yeah, it's a weird dream, but it looked pretty cozy.
Yeah,
They both look comfortable.
yeah. I'm sure they make like a Lothos sex pillow. We've talked about this before in Japan. Like, if you just want to order one,
Yeah, like a Lothos body pillow.
yeah, you just like, I need something to snuggle up on. Like, what are you looking for? Vampire daddy? Okay, cool. We can make you a vampire daddy.
Yeah. Do you have anything that says "Daddy likes leather"?
Yeah. Do you like this mustache? I certainly do.
Yeah.
Barely noticeable mustache.
Yeah. I like that I told all of you guys, I was like, if I grow that mustache, like, you got to stop me. Mike was like, I'm going to encourage it. But
I would.
I also noted that this guy's got this weird, like, I'm going to go hunting, but I'm Sherlock Holmes kind of jacket.
Yeah, the jacket makes
Yeah,
the
with
mustache.
this, like, weird, like, fur collar. That is La-Mar notes, like, it complements his mustache.
You need the combo.
Yeah.
Look at that man's fur collar. Look at his mustache. He's got it all. He's truly the man about town.
The carpet does match the drapes, but it's the mustache and the carpet. I don't know which one's the carpet.
That's the Lothos way.
Yeah, it is. It is.
Hi, are you a single man about town in Denver? Call me Lothos.
I just Googled Lothos body pillow, and I really regret that.
Well, you're on the
being
list now.
serious?
Yeah, about both things.
Hi, call me Lothos body pillows. Body pillows for Paladin Mike. Break that holy spirit.
Yeah, that was a mistake. My car's being impounded right now.
Mike, what did you find in that Google search?
I found some body pillows.
By Lothos?
No, apparently there's an anime character that's a similar name,
Oh.
and I found a lot of that.
Oh.
Like
Well,
90% of the body pillows are anime.
Of course
based.
they are. fucking weebs on weird pillows.
Well, Mike, all I can really say is a gift basket of poison is currently being dispatched to your house as we speak now.
Yeah, if that pillow's there, I'm going to take it. I think Buffy's having second thoughts about being the Slayer.
Well, this is one of the reasons, again, I like this movie. I mean, anywhere where someone has like the Peter Parker complex, where it's like, I want to live my life, but I've now like developed like a sense that I have these powers, but like it's essentially like with great power comes great responsibility. I mean, it's the same thing, but it's fun. I mean, and it's to the point. So I do like that there's always this hold up. But then, Merrick shows up again.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Tries to convince her.
in the girls' locker room.
In girls' locker room. Where they're
Yeah,
Making
because
noise.
why not?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hi, my name's Lothos. Let me tell you all the popular locations.
I think Lothos is just like a perv, and he's following chicks around.
Yeah,
I
probably.
mean, Lothos seems kind of pervy, dude.
Yeah.
So that, like, although I'm doing like, hi, I'm Lothos, it is a way to make fun of him because I'm like, dude.
Right,
I mean,
like an old man in a trench coat shows up in the locker room.
Yeah, I mean,
he's
so-
been doing this to girls throughout time.
see, that's the thing. I'm like, I guess like in the old timey sense, it was like this old man monster was like, I'm killing young women. But now you're like, I'm going after like 17-year-old high school girls, and I'm like, dude, no, nope, no.
He's like a vampire DiCaprio.
Yeah.
As soon as they hit 25, he just murders them so he can start fresh.
Oh man, yeah. Like, come on, no. Hi, I'm Lothos. Do you like bad plans and potentially going to jail? Call me. We'll talk about it.
Do you like graveyards?
Do you like meeting people?
Yeah.
But that's Lothos. That's the vampire. Merrick.
Merrick.
Merrick
Sorry,
likes
yeah.
graveyards.
Merrick does love graveyards. Yeah.
But they go vampire hunting again.
Well, yeah, he throws a knife at her face, and she catches it. Only the chosen one could
Yeah.
catch a knife like that.
That's true.
No human could stack books like this.
It's a big fucking gamble. Because if he
Yeah.
threw that and it was wrong, he'd have to wait like another
Well,
20
think about
years.
this.
Yeah, that was how he lost the last couple.
How many did he kill? Right in the face, too.
Yeah.
So many innocent girls killed by Merrick.
But then we're treated to a training montage.
Yeah.
Ah, yes, the montage.
Yeah.
And then we learn that Pike is just leaving town. Pike's like, nope. Like, he's at the mechanic shop that he works at, and he's like, this part was supposed to be in earlier. And the guy's like, whatever, bro. And he's like, whatever. Like, the sun's going down. And he's like, okay. So Pike grabs his guitar and apparently has a van packed with other stuff, and he's driving off. Buffy, luckily, is training again that night because Pike is leaving town. His car stalls out. It seems relatively close from where he was at.
Yeah, that van sucked.
And then he's up against 3 vampires. We got Paul Reubens in front of him, 2 vampires behind him. He backs over the other vampires. Was it Amilyn? Amilyn.
Yeah,
I think so.
Amilyn is Paul Reubens. He's in front, and he takes a little ride on the van. So they're going off course through some trees, various other things. And he goes flying. They crash eventually into a tree. Paul Reubens loses an arm. And Luke Perry's barely awakened during all this. He's kind of fighting for his life. Luckily, Buffy and Merrick pop out.
Yeah.
And Mike, and she has cramps here too. Like, she's holding her side. Like, I keep noting this. Like, she keeps holding her side. Like, but then like she's like activated. Like, I think this is like the way to track vampires down for her too. Like, as this gets stronger, she knows where they're at, and then she could like fight them off.
Okay.
And she does, because she just beats the shit out of them.
Yeah.
This is one of the reasons I like this. I mean, the role reversal, like the gender role reversal in this movie, clearly it's usually like, I'm a big tough guy, and I'm going to like save the damsel in distress. She doesn't need anyone. She saves this dude 55 times.
Right.
He does eventually kind of help here and there, probably just because of proximity, and he's there. But she's the tough one, and often he's behind her. And I like that, and it totally pays off. So he's able to like fight off a vampire here, but she takes them all down.
Would you say she toaster caked him?
She totally toaster caked him.
Yeah. That's what I would have.
I mean, for sure.
Totally. What the fuck does that even mean?
You know what it means. Why don't you Google that, Mike?
I know.
Well, listen. Do me a favor. Let's just narrow it down. Toaster cake. Type that in, and XX.
There you go.
I just want you to narrow it down for yourself.
Pillsbury toaster strudel frosting pack.
Type in.
That's what I'm going to
type in German too. It's gonna narrow some things down.
You mean translate it to German or type in the words?
Both.
Okay.
Both.
Perfect. Guys, I'm being arrested.
You're already on so many lists tonight.
Yeah. Podcast is over.
Yeah, that's the full buff.
Yeah, it is the full buff.
Well, they're friends. Hey, everything's
Yeah,
okay.
no, they're BFF now.
Yeah, well, we run into Merrick now, and so basically the stage was set where it's been highlighted that all throughout these years that all of these Slayers have died, and Merrick has never intervened. He's like, I just watch. This is what I do, and that's one of my questions. Like once he said that, I'm like, then how's he been dying? Like what's just of old age? Like a Slayer dies, and he's like, shit. I've got to live for 40 more years. I'm going to be reborn.
Yeah.
So I just don't know really like the situation. They don't really talk about it.
Does he die? I mean, he said he's born with the knowledge, but is that where we meant to infer that he does live a natural life or get killed and then?
Yeah, he's just a troublesome child.
Yeah, that's how he talks as a child. Like, why does my son want to go to the fucking graveyard all the time?
Yeah. Oh, wait, I do forgot one of my favorite lines. And sorry, like this is like before we meet Merrick. I forgot there's also like a basketball game too. We'll get to that. But when Amilyn has the vampires attack Pike, he's like, he loses an arm. He's like, oh my God. And he doesn't even say it about his arm. He's like, you've ruined my jacket. He's like, kill him a lot. And then all of his vampires go after him. And that's when they take him down. Yeah, we're about to meet Merrick again here in a second. Sorry, I was jumping the gun. We get a basketball gang. We get a basketball game that is like straight out of Teen Wolf, just with a vampire. And that's where Eyebrow comes back. He's on the team again.
And it seems like everyone knows that he might be a vampire, or at least not completely okay.
It seems like the coach, this isn't his first rodeo. He's like, because he's like, I am not going anywhere near that dude. One of the players could go talk to him.
Well, like he does a slam dunk and he's kind of floating there.
Yeah,
and the ref is like, you can't have him.
You gotta get him out of there.
He tells the coach, he's like, you got to get him off the court.
We still get the points, right? Good. Okay.
Yeah. Well, I understand where everyone's coming from. I'm
Yeah.
like, yeah, nope. Like I guess I have to go check. Did I park my car where I think I did? I'll come back to that.
Yeah. That's not where I parked my car.
Yeah. And then you're just gone.
Yeah. But Buffy's there. She sees this and she's like, you know what? I'm the Slayer.
Yeah.
I gotta toaster cake this guy.
Yeah. And so she goes running after him, and basically this vampire leads him to Merrick. I'm sorry. This to Lothos. And this is where Merrick comes out. And she's like, listen, I'm the Slayer. I've got to go after him. And this is where we see Merrick and Lothos have a little chat. And I just don't understand. Like, this is like the one written thing, as I said. Like, I'm just like, how's this guy been dying over these years? They seem kind of friendly. I only say this because it seems like it's almost like Highlander rules have been implemented. Like, they might hate each other's guts, but there seems to be the illusion, at least, that there's this like cosmic law where Merrick cannot intervene because he's only a watcher. Thus, I would assume Lothos can't do anything about it unless those rules are broken, which we're going to see here in a second.
Maybe.
But it just seems like that's been it. So I really don't know how Merrick would have been dying all of these years.
Yeah, I don't either. Or maybe just they're that familiar because he knows he's going to see him again, in 30 more years or whatever.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it kind of seems like there is a level of preparedness that the Slayer has to have. So, I mean, in some ways, Lothos might want to encourage Merrick to do his fucking job so that the Slayer can be prepared enough so that he can just off them.
Yeah, that's fair.
Or it seemed like Merrick, like these rules only applied to Merrick, and Lothos could have killed him at any time, but this was like a rare encounter for them. And Lothos just decided, you know what? Fuck you.
Well, Lothos is like, I'm going to seduce Buffy right now. Let's just get this done with. And that's where Merrick's like, she is not ready yet. She is not prepared. You cannot do this. Like, he is kind of enacting like some kind of law that has been like set into motion amongst all these years. And And he's like, well, you can't stop me. And he's like, yes, not this time. And he said after all these years, he's never intervened, but this is the one time Merrick does. And he pulls out a knife and he tries to stab him. So he did break the law of what they have. And then Lothos turns the knife around him and stabs it into him. And I feel that was like, he was allowed to do that because Merrick broke the vow of these laws. And then he's like, because he's like, I've never intervened, but he believed in this Slayer. Oh, Buffy.
He tricked him in.
Oh, following him to the graveyard was a good thing. Mm-hmm. That just wasn't some cheap goth pickup line. Hey girl, you want to go to the graveyard?
Yeah, you eventually got her there. Got thrashed in the graveyard.
I mean, if it wasn't for him, she could have a loose goose and shake her caboose.
Have you figured out what the goose is yet?
I think it's a caboose.
No, because later she says caboose. It can't be the same.
You have to get your goose loose before you can shake your caboose.
Yeah. Duh.
Obviously.
You don't want to pull something.
Yeah, what is the goose?
What is the goose?
What is the goose?
I still would like to know. No one is
You'll
telling
never.
me what the
You're
goose
not
is.
get.
Well, what do you think the chicken is?
That's
Funky.
Yeah.
The chicken was funky.
You need to see a doctor about that.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Well, Merrick is dead.
That's
We never see him buried. We never see what happens to him. But he's dead. I assume they just left his dead body there and walked off.
Yeah, that's fine.
They're like, let's go to Denny's. Let's get some scramby eggs.
Mm-hmm. Moon's over my hammy.
Let's get some pancakes, maybe some ice cream. Mm-hmm. Let's go home.
There you go.
Yeah.
Pike does go home with Buffy. He does stay the night. They clearly are developing a relationship here, and he's very aware of this. And she's like, you could stay in the guest room. He's like, I'm just gonna stay downstairs. I just want to make sure the sun comes up. And you could tell there's a little something between them. I mean, a mix of we just went to war together and amongst other things. But yeah, it's time to fight now. We're gonna figure it all out. And as this is all happening, at some point in time, Pike sees Buffy. I think it's the next day. He's driving around on a motorcycle, and he's like, "Come on, we just gotta get it." No, he wants revenge, and she wants out. She's she's clearly devastated about Merrick's death, and she's like, "I want out." And he's like, "We've got to finish this. There's that dude out there. There's vampires. People are being turned." She's like, "No, I'm sick of killing people." And then we see Benny come out of the shadows. He's like, "It was Buffy," and then it's clearly I'm gonna go tell my master. And then we see Lothos planning. He's like, "Oh, we're gonna kill her at the dance." And Amilyn is like, "Come on, master, we could go kill her right now." He's like, "No, master wants to dance."
You just don't get it, Scott.
I could go in the other room
I gotta go right now.
You just don't get it. And Lothos didn't get it. Much like Dr. Evil, he doesn't get it. But he's going to wait for the dance because he wants to dance with somebody. And he wants to feel the heat of somebody. Somebody like you.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, boom.
Okay.
I went there.
Yeah. Well, at the dance, we've got a little bit of a mix-up. Buffy thought she was going to go with her boyfriend,
Jeffrey. And they're playing Toad the Wet Sprocket. Real 90s
yeah, they're toading the fuck out of that wet sprocket. But
Whoa.
record scratch, Jaffrey is there with some other bimbo.
Yeah.
And he's like, "Buffy, we're not dating anymore. Did you break up with me? I don't know." On the answering machine.
You
That
broke
sucks.
up with me over a message? And that's what teens will never know now.
Yeah.
You broke up with my machine?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that's right, yeah.
Yeah,
Now
that's what teens will not know.
We do it with emojis now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, all along, luckily, Pike is getting ready for the dance, too. I don't know why. He's probably not allowed in. He's probably, way too old to be at
Yeah,
this
is he a
dance.
student or what
But-
is
No,
But-
definitely not.
Yeah.
But as Mike noted, he shaves his soul patch right off. And then I told everyone
And
in
his
the room,
sideburns.
that's when he found his soul.
There
You know what? Being an adult and just walking into a senior prom is got to be super embarrassing. So, props to him to having the courage to just do that.
No.
Super sad.
Collin, as an adult, you walk into that prom.
No, you
And
don't.
you go,
don't do that.
Collin, you go to each and every one of those kids and you say,
Ooh.
I need
can buy you
money.
booze.
I could buy you booze. And you take their money and you walk off and you never come back and you just took all those kids' money.
How about
And that was a lesson learned for everyone.
how about I do what Pike does and I just go to children and say, I crashed your party.
That's fine. That too. Whatever route gets you into jail for the night.
Yeah.
It's a choose your own adventure.
92, you can get away with
Turn
it.
to page 97. You have found yourself at senior
There
prom,
you go.
or at spring dance or whatever dance they are. They noted there's many other dances to come. But I do like the interaction. If I'm not mistaken, this is from even the preview. I'm like, wow, like 30 years ago, I remember this. And eventually, like, they're making, kissy cute eyes at one another, and they clearly like one another. And the dialogue is, Buffy, you're not like other girls. And she goes, yes, I am. And you're like, and then boom, vampires crash in the party, and they're like, "Come on out, Buffy." And I do like this. Hilary Swank is in this movie here and there, and remember, these vampires can't come in without an invitation. And they're like, don't worry, we're safe in here. And Hilary Swank's like, I did invite them. And Buffy gives her the dirtiest look, but I like that she like holds her ground. She's like, what? They're seniors. They're all invited.
They had the conversation earlier about who to invite and not invite, and they're like, we have to invite everyone if they're seniors, and they stood their ground on that point.
Yeah, I like us full circle. Yeah. Something that I noted here that I believe there's like one small scene, and I believe there was other scenes filmed. Seth Green, who is in the show Buffy the Vampire Slayer, does have a cameo in here somewhere at the dance. I think it's outside, but apparently he had more scenes. They were just never made it, and they never made it into the movie.
It's a shame. I like Seth Green.
Yeah, but he made it later.
They were wasting his flavor, probably.
Yeah, damn girl, wasting my flavor, yo. We talked about it before. Collin had a line about it.
The flavor.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's okay to waste the flavor, but I don't remember why.
Is that what the advice is?
If it's not good flavor, then you could waste it. Yeah. I don't know. But yeah, they're all taunting her, and they're like, coming outside or we're coming inside. And she does decide to go outside, and it's almost like a scene out of Thriller. And there all these vampires are like coming out of the mists. But then she is just twirling and flipping and just kicking the shit out of all of them. A lot of fun scenes. She's just beating ass. Every vampire, every which way. She does make it to the area where Amilyn is. I do like this scene. This is kind of like an interesting like side, story. Like it just makes sense really quick. And he's like, you're not even worth the kill of my master. I'm going to kill you right now. Like he thinks so little of her because she's not trained. Like Merrick was clear, like you're not trained. You're not the normal person. But Merrick like loved her for that reason. I mean, a weird like fatherly love that was developed in like minutes. I only say weird because it was like days that happened, but it was clearly like years and lifetimes that they experienced. And he's like he clearly loved her because she was different. And Amilyn does not. He goes the opposite route. He's like, your differences make you weak and you're an idiot. And I'm just going to kill you now because this whole like dance and this whole waiting is bullshit. My master's wrong. I'm going to kill you.
Right. I'm better than you in every way. What can't I do?
Right.
Clap.
Oh, yeah, that was good. Yeah. And she does stab him. And Lothos is okay with this. He's like, just finish the job. Like, this guy sucks.
Well, she's about to stab him, and they both look at Lothos. And he's like, yeah, go for it. And then she does. And his death scene is phenomenal.
Yeah, he's not, like, fully dying, but not, like wailing out in pain. At one point in time, he, like, sits up and, like, kicks the wall a couple times like he's trying to work out a hiccup.
This has to be Paul Rubin. It has to be Paul Rubin.
Yeah, he was just riffing and they left it in.
They left it in.
Can't have been scripted.
Yeah, like, and he's like, oh no. And then eventually just falls over dead.
Because this movie's pretty goofy at times, but like
this was
like a little extra even. For
yeah, totally.
And I loved it all.
No, absolutely. It worked so well.
Yeah. Well, then, she's there to face Lothos, and she is basically insta-seduced. He's like, this is ridiculous, like, you're under my spell, and she's like, yes, I am, and, like, leans her neck open, like any vampire movie. She's about to get drained and killed, and she snaps out of it a little bit.
Yeah. Well, I mean, she was really excited about his sweet samurai sword that he had, too.
I mean, you gotta have a sweet samurai sword.
Yeah. Like all vampires do.
That's true.
Yeah.
I mean, Highlander did.
Who doesn't want a sweet samurai sword?
A sword that can cut
yeah,
through
he
a
did.
Yeah.
fucking
Duncan.
flagpole.
Yeah.
I don't know about that. Sword kind of sucked.
I mean, it might not have been. It was like a mall, like a Hot Topic sword.
Yeah. Yeah. Fuck.
I mean, it looked cool. He probably just had it like above his bookshelf at home. I don't know.
Well,
Yeah.
well, basically, something that was noted was silence is going to break the curse, and the dance is happening, and the DJ's going. The DJ's been replaced by a vampire, which is kind of fun. So all this music's playing, and Benny goes for Pike, and after a series and moments of fighting, Pike gets stabbed up. Or I'm sorry, Benny gets stabbed up a little, and Pike throws him basically into, I don't know, some kind of breaker system on the wall, and the power goes out, and so does the music. And somehow, like, the pure silence breaks the trance that Lothos puts on Buffy. And she, like, instant comes out of it and is like, you're a creepy old dude, and I'm going to beat your ass. And he's like, no, we're meant to be together. And she's like, totally not, dude. Like, she is just, like, not in it. Like, the trance is, like, just broken forever. It's like there's, I don't know, like, it's not really explained, but, like, he has no power over her in any capacity anymore.
Yeah.
Which is kind of fun.
Yeah.
He turns from kind of being this, like, you know, the creepy old domineering vampire, just being like, you little bitch.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, he's not happy
He's calling
about
her a bitch every which way now. He's like, you little bitch. Yeah, he turns, like, yeah, totally, Collin, from this, like, almost, like, seductive, domineering, like, monster to this, like, just can't hack it wannabe. So she goes upstairs and is like, I'm going to, you know, fix all this. And he busts through a wall and no one knows what to do. And it's the final fight. And she just basically beats his ass.
Yeah. She toaster kicks him. I gotta stop saying that. It's so
Do you?
fucking stupid.
Do
No,
you?
I don't know.
What about the t-shirts, Mike?
Yeah, I'll make the.
There you go.
We've got to make the t-shirts.
Yeah, time to make the t-shirts.
Yeah.
She does beat his ass though. Big
Yeah.
time.
He comes after her. There's a scene where she does spray hairspray in his face with some fire. That doesn't really work. That's how she got away, though. I just kind of noted
The
that.
look on his face when he gets fired.
He's very off-put by this.
Yeah, it's kind of like.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
You know.
Should I do it again?
Yeah, go for
Yeah.
it, Mike. We can
He's
isolate
like,
those. That made it worse.
Did it? Okay. And he's shaking his hair like in a Pantene commercial.
Yeah. He does shake it, yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, they go upstairs and he totally overestimates his play. He's very slow. It's kind of like watching Darth Vader fight, like, I don't know, a modern Star Wars character. Like, he's going like, I'm going to get you with this sword. And she like steps to the right.
Yeah.
She's like, I don't think so, clown. And then basically just stabs him in the heart. And the way he goes out's weird. He's like, oh, and he goes, whoops. and then when he hits the floor, he covers himself with his cloak.
Don't look at me.
Yeah, they don't even show his like body disappear, or like
it's
sometimes
good.
like a vampire goes on fire, or so, like, you know, like disappear like, you know, a Jedi. No, he just goes again, whoops, hits the floor, and then covers himself with his cloak, and he's dead.
I had to think about that. I'm like, is this really the death scene? Like, wow, this is
Yep.
what the fuck? Whoops. Boom.
Well, those are mighty fine last words. Whoops, indeed, because Mike, what's gonna happen to that guy?
Well, he ain't getting up from that.
He's not. he just got cloaked.
Yeah.
So yeah, and then we get to see Buffy and Pike talk, and they're like, you know what, this is like pretty good. And Pike's like, you know, I saved the last dance for you, and she's like, are you gonna ask me? He's like, yeah. And then they dance a little bit, and then the last scene is he's on his motorcycle, and he, you know, revs it up. It's actually a kind of really cute scene. I should detail it out. It's night. You see just kind of his back. He's like, you know, revving up the motorcycle, and she runs out, and she's in like a really cute, like, you know, dress, and she's wearing his leather jacket. She goes like, jumps right on the back like she's like mounting a horse, and they ride off, and that's it. And then we get Susanna Huff playing a song of music, and that's the end of the movie, sort of. But that's the end of Buffy and Pike, and then they kind of ride off. The last moments we get of the movie are news clips and it's people being interviewed like, oh my God, what happened? Like, what was going on? Like, people were saying they were vampires. They were like draining blood. And I love one of the guys is being interviewed is Buffy's like ex-boyfriend. He's like, I don't know, man. Like, people are coming in, they're freaking out, they're like throwing things. I think there were young Republicans. Yeah, like other people are talking. And then we get a cut scene to Paul Reubens again, still going, is he dead? Is he not? Was that a blooper? Was that cut out? Who knows? And I kind of like the vagueness of this. But before we go to our final reviews of Buffy the Vampire Slayer 1992, and again, thanks, Jenna, for this awesome suggestion. Before we go through those final reviews, as always, feel free to reach out to us at rabbittroopsuckspodcast@gmail.com. Do you, like Jenna, have an awesome review for a film that we should review? Let us know. Do you know something about a film? Do you want to invite us to an event? Thanks again for having us at MiniCon. We like doing all sorts of stuff, so just let us know. In addition, feel free to go to rabbittroopsucks.com. There are links to merchandise. There are links to episodes. There are pictures of us. There are fun things to be had. We are also on Instagram and Facebook, and whatever you need. As I've said many times, if you need isolated sound clips from Mike and his uhs, feel free to reach out to us. There you go. He could narrate. You could get OnlyFans level access. You got a sultry birthday party coming up? Mm-hmm. Hey, call him up for cash. And I'm going to take part of that cash, like his pimp.
Yeah.
So we'll split it. We'll all have a pizza party. A little lemonade.
Exactly.
Punch and pie.
$5 hot and ready's for everybody.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
Feel free to reach out to us. But yeah, what did everyone think? Again, Jeremy, we hope you're feeling better. We're sorry you have the fever. Like he's in the stand.
Yeah. He might be. You don't know what's going on out there.
Jeremy. Yeah, no.
Jeremy, are you in the stand?
What did y'all think about Buffy the Vampire Slayer?
Buffy.
I
never go first, so I'll go first.
There you go.
I like this movie. I like it a lot. I've seen it many times. It's better than the TV show, regardless of what you think. If you think otherwise, you're wrong. No, it's just fun. Like, this is a movie that I think really, it's better than the sum of its parts, and its parts are pretty good. Like, all the acting is pretty solid. People don't take it seriously, I think. Paul Reubens clearly didn't. But it really works. Like, everything just kind of flows well. It's quick. It doesn't over-explain stuff. Like, the fight choreography, honestly, isn't bad, especially for its time. It's funny. I don't know. I just like this movie. It's fun start to finish. I got nothing really else to say.
What do you think, La-Mar?
I have to agree with you almost 100%, Mike. I had a lot of fun watching this movie. I think what detracts it from me is I don't get the cult following behind this movie, and I think it does have a cult following. Me personally, I just like it as a fun romp and just whatever. Like, I have no idea why. I kind of know why they spawned a TV show off of it, but why they have to go on so long and why they have to get so deep. And I understand there's a lot of lore to explore, but it's not for that. The TV shows should have had more fun with the lore of this movie that it presented. But like I said, I never watched the show, so I don't know which way it goes. This movie is fantastic on its own. You don't need to watch the show to enjoy it. There's a lot of great actors in here that you mentioned before, Paul, but I think their roles are just kind of muted in a way. I think like Rutger Hauer is like as Lothos. He only has a very few lines, and he's not really the demanding evil presence that I thought he was going to be.
La-Mar, before he spoke, his mustache bespoke.
That's true. And the mustache really speak for him. I had fun with this movie. It's you can't go wrong with it for 90 minutes and just letting your brain go. And it's a cheerleader killing vampires and being trained by Donald Sutherland, who is, I think, has a muted part in this movie as well. I think he could have been a little more. But then again, Merrick is not supposed to be like the main character or anything. He's supposed to be just guiding her through. And I liked it for that. Just fun movie. I got not much more to say about it.
What are you thinking, Collin?
Yeah, I can't really add that much more to what Mike said. It's just a super fun little vampire movie. It has a nice mix of everything. It has the correct level of acting. Like no one's really overdoing anything. A super tight script with the appropriate amount of one-liners that makes you giggle pretty much throughout the whole thing.
Yeah.
I just really, really like it.
Yeah, I mean, I'm seriously just gonna echo everything everyone says. I mean, this movie for me is just like a lot of fun. I think you could throw this on during a Halloween month easily. You could throw this on during the summer. You could throw this on anytime. I like the action. I like the romance because it's just kind of quick. Because it focuses more on like the vampires and like more action than anything else. I like that the backstory is quickly established, and it's almost like it insists upon itself. Where like you kind of just like you're like I kind of get the story. It's been done, so we don't need to like rehash it a million times. Yeah. Let's just get into it. I'm like awesome. I do think this was super creative. I think this is absolutely original, and it's just good to see that. So I'm like. 1992, that's the perspective I'm trying to go under, that like I didn't see anything like this up until this point in time, and I'm like, this is a lot of fun. And so yeah, I would absolutely recommend this. I know Rami always asks, should I watch this as in a group or not? This movie for me is inconsequential. Watch it as a group, watch it individually. I don't think it would matter all too much. But you know what's coming up next? We're going to continue this Halloween trend with some spookiness. So, we had Halloween 3. We just gave you Buffy the Vampire Slayer. And now we're going to come at you with 1988 Death Spa. So if you are into haunted spas, or not, I don't know. Like listen anyhow. So
this movie appeals to both haunted spa enthusiasts,
yes,
and people who do not care for haunted spas.
Ooh. So we're hitting a lot of demographics.
Yeah, basically everybody.
Yeah. Should we go mellow out like we opened like a cozy tea commercial before? Like, we really appreciate you listening, Denver, and thanks. It's been great. All right.
There you go.
Does anyone have anything to say about Death Spa or Death Spa? I'm just excited
about to say about this.
I'm just excited. Anyone have anything to say more about Buffy?
I have one thing.
Yeah.
You mentioned the vampire DJ that came in during the whole scene. That was David Arquette's sister.
Oh yeah.
Who I can't remember her name, but she played that role. I don't know why I just thought of that. I researched that when I saw it. I'm like, wow, okay. So I thought I'd just mention that.
Yeah, awesome. Cool. I did not know that trivia. That's awesome.
Yeah, just random trivia I throw out. The movie's good.
Hell yeah.
Buffy.
Well, thanks for listening as always. And as always, come on, man, you're floating. Yeah, the troop sucks.
Her yabos scoff at gravity.
Oops.
Oops.